who has been wary of him ever since the aspect emperor declared him one of the believer kings. Sorcery tells his friend about Prosperian, and more importantly, about Yatwar, the mother of birth, begging for whatever insight he has to offer. Sranc tells him he is Nerendari, a divine assassin sent to murder Anasurimbor Esmenet. Sorcery is denied the luxury of ruminating on his friend's mad assertion. The Scions push their ponies to the limits of endurance in an attempt to reach the Great Ordeal ahead of the Consult Legion. The Scions find themselves fleeing across treacherous ground through the darkness, their numbers dwindling as more and more of their exhausted mounts fail. When Aeschylus is thrown, Sorcery leaps from his pony to assist the portly mandate schoolmen. Sranc overrun them, cluster about the sorcerer's wards. Aeschylus panics, but Sorcery remains calm, instructs the man to find some means of warning Anasurimbor Esmenet and the army of the Middle North. The sorcerer casts a bar of heaven, revealing the legion to the embattled Norserai, and so saving a mighty fraction of the Great Ordeal. The following morning, Sorcery and Sranc swear an oath to be his brothers, boonsmen until death. Esmenet declares him a hero, saying that his actions had saved the army of the Middle North from almost certain destruction. What Sranc said earlier was true. The young believer king realizes the dread mother of birth positioned him within the Great Ordeal. In typical Anasurimbor fashion, Esmenet follows his praise with the demand that he kill his slave, Prosperian. The Great Ordeal is running out of food, the man explains, and the aspect emperor has commanded that his believer kings put down all their non-combatant servants and slaves. Sorcery bids Prosperian to follow him into the grisly tracts of dead Sranc, planning to release rather than murder him. But it is the old Shaigeki who leads him into the bloody rack. The slave clears a pocket of turf, then begins unearthing bones from the soaked muck, a skeleton that takes on the ghostly image of the mother herself. Skeletal hands reach into a vacant womb and draw out a strange pouch which Sorcery takes in trembling hands. Prosperian throws himself upon a spear before the youth can question him. Sorcery investigates the leather pouch in his tent later that evening, knowing what it contains even before he draws it open. A kore. Sranc had called him Narendari, an assassin of the gods. Every assassin needs a weapon. Later that night, he seeks out Anasurimbor Esmenet, the Grand Mistress of the Swayali, on the pretext of thanking her for saving him. She cannot see that he lies, nor can she sense the kore within the pouch the mother of birth has given him. He departs knowing that in the entire world, he alone possesses the means both to deceive and to kill the aspect emperor. The Great Ordeal continues crawling north toward the ever-withdrawing horde. The desolation of the Ishual gradually gives way to the knuckled landscapes of ancient Shenior, a high Norserai nation prominent in the holy sagas, and the Ordealmen rejoice for finally reaching the outskirts of Scripture. At the behest of their aspect emperor, the schools begin what comes to be called the culling, drawing up in long lines and floating out over the masses of the horde, killing and burning as many of the obscene creatures as they possibly can. The slaughter is great, but as the horde withdraws, it scoops up ever more clans. The culling can do little more than slow the foul mustering of their foe. Summoned to the umbilicus, Proyas finds Kelmomas preparing to receive an embassy of non-men from Ishterebinth. Claiming to speak for Nilgicos, king of Ishterebinth, the emissary declares that his people will add their voice and shield to the Great Ordeal, but only if Kelmomas manages to retake the ancient fortress of Daglish and sends them 3 hostages according to the ancient law of Niam, a son, a daughter, and an enemy, one who can gainsay any deception. Sorcery learns that he is to be that 3rd hostage the following morning, a false enemy, Sarah assures him. The news so dismays Sranc that he refuses to